Hi, Stella here. I'm an artist and I have lupus. For those of you who have been following me or know me in real life, you know I have been struggling with the autoimmune disease called lupus since 2021. I actually didn't even get a firm diagnosis until August of 2023. So believe it or not, I am relatively new to all of this. I don't know about you, but at one point I lost everything. I no longer have a job, and my financial security or security of any kind was pretty much off the window. I even lost a huge sense of self since I couldn't even do half of the things that I used to do physically, mentally, and emotionally. But as an artist, I also figure out how to use the process of creativity to rediscover who I am and rewrite my own story in the face of illness. So I thought, instead of having you guys sit here listening to my sob story and feel bad for me, why not share with you guys the tips and tricks I've learned to help me find a way to continue living, especially when this chronic illness is not going to go away anytime soon. So let's take a deep breath. Exhale. You can paint with me, or you can just watch me paint and listen to my voice. Just take a moment to take a look at this face. This is pretty much the starting point when I was finally medicated and I had a bit of a clarity in my mind, because the pain was obviously being controlled by the medication at this point, where I realized I no longer recognized the person that I used to be. There were aspects of it I still recognize. I understand my spirit is still there. I understand my likes and dislikes, but there is definitely limitations to what I can and cannot do at this point. So the first thing I say to myself was, work off of what you have. Build on top of it. Don't try to erase everything of who you are, but see what is left of you and build on top of that. Kind of like the way I am currently using a brush, using the ink in the water. This is actually alcohol ink and watercolor on top of synthetic paper. Sorry, gonna get a little bit technical here. Just retracing who I am, redefining the lines that got a little bit blurred or disappeared. Little by little, you start to accent using lines, shadows, or even waters to bring out the parts that have survived the illness, even adding new features and details that were never quite there, but now they are part of who you are because you just overcame a tremendous challenge by simply being alive. Though the new you will never look quite like the old you, but it is always better than identifying yourself with your illness. Why is that? Because that means you're giving away a choice, your choice, to stand up for yourself and to redefine who you are despite the illness. My lupus will never tell me to paint flowers on top of my head. Why? Because lupus is boring. But I say to myself, that flower, that blossoming lotus represents the new me, and I want to have it because I want to have it. It's my life. It's my story that I'm rewriting over here. It's my choice that nobody else can take it away from me. Do you see the way I kind of twirl and shift my brush every other stroke or every 3 strokes? That's because my joint is usually inflamed internally like 24/7, so it actually hurts when I paint. But I don't let it stop me because I can't. The moment I allow lupus to dictate to me what I can and cannot do, who I am as a person, I identify as an artist, then game over, right? I don't know you, and I don't know what you suffer from. I can only imagine the type of pain you have. I don't even know about your prognosis at this point. But I understand what it feels like to have lost a huge chunk of who you are to your illness. So while you watch me paint, or while you're painting with me, or just listening to what I'm saying, ask yourself the question, what is the choice that you can make for yourself so that you can rewrite who you are, so that you can find purpose on a daily basis and continue fighting on? Are you your illness? If not, what are you? Take a look at that dot. That dot to me symbolizes the pocket of moments in your everyday life, the gap between the painful periods. We all have those gaps. Let's be honest about that. When you are experiencing one of those gaps, ask yourself the question, what are my qualities, mental, physical, emotional, that predate my illness? What are the qualities I carry forward regardless of my illness being here now? And that is the secret that I randomly found in the moment when I started to think back to who I used to be, what I used to do, and realizing, wait a minute, I predate my own illness. I pre-exist, I still exist throughout my illness, and I exist before it. So I never disappear. The only difference is I need to evolve into something else to accommodate this thing that is just not going away as we speak. On a completely separate note, I do apologize for how shaky my camera is. I have absolutely no idea this was happening, that I actually paint so hard. I will definitely improve in my next video. I will highly recommend you to create those gaps in between the incessant pain and mental frustration, to just be with yourself, because every time when there's that mental gap, that space will allow you to think clearly. Even if you don't think, that's totally fine. Just rest your mind in that moment of silence, in that momentary space. It does wonders. It also calms down your body as well. And if you have no idea how to create that gap, that's okay. All you have to do, close your eyes, take 3 deep breaths. Let's do it together. Did you feel that? In between each breath, there's that tiny little gap. That's a gap I'm talking about. And you can create it simply by taking a deep breath. And do it as many times as needed. When you come out of the gap, take a look at yourself. There are many layers, right? Just like this painting. I started with one layer, one color, and grew it into so many different colors, layers of alcohol ink, watercolor, and now I'm doing metallic paint. Isn't that true in life as well? In real life, all of our stories are complicated, stacked against one another. Sometimes I don't even know where it begins, where it ends. It's pretty, but it's also very messy. None of it is clean cut. But you know what? It is still my story, the one that I rewrote for myself after getting sick. Now the question is, what is your story? Feel free to share your story down in the comments below. And I love to see how you rewrite your life after getting sick. See you at the next video.